Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Wednesday, the 2nd of March. India says action on Pathankot attackers priority over dialogue with Pakistan. Afghan forces kill suicide bombers who targeted Indian consulate in Jalalabad. And India hosts multilateral military exercise with 17 nations. And now for all the details. India on Wednesday indicated that New Delhi's priority would be action over dialogue with Pakistan in the aftermath of the deadly Pathankot terror attack. The diplomatic talks between the two nations' foreign secretaries were mutually postponed after the attack on the airbase on January 2nd.
Asserting that actions against Pathankot airbase attackers and dialogue between India and Pakistan are parallel issues, India's Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar on Wednesday said New Delhi's priority at the moment was action against the perpetrators of the attack.
The two countries had agreed on the comprehensive bilateral dialogue. So my counterpart and I were supposed to meet to discuss how the modalities of that were to be worked out. So that was already in play. Then the Pathankot attack happened. What the picture you see is of really parallel processes which are working. In the aftermath of a terrorist attack, if you ask me, so what do you give priority to, a terrorist attack or a diplomatic dialogue? I think the answer should be obvious.
Jaishankar's statement comes as Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs Sartaj Aziz has said the talks with India are likely to resume after a Pakistan team visits Pathankot in the next few days to investigate into the deadly attack on the Indian Air Force base. According to reports, India has also sent a letter regulatory to Pakistan seeking details about the Pathankot attackers. 7 Indian soldiers were killed when a group of militants believed to have come from Pakistan attacked on Indian airbase in India's northern city of Pathankot on January 2nd. The brazen assault had derailed the dialogue process between the two neighbours as the Foreign Secretary level, which was scheduled for January 15th, was mutually postponed.
Meanwhile, in Pakistan, scores of people attended the funeral of Mumtaz Qadri as a show of support to the convict executed for the assassination of former provincial governor Salman Taseer. Qadri had killed Taseer in 2011 for criticizing country's blasphemy laws.
Amid tight security, an estimated crowd of more than 100,000 people, including members of religious groups and conservatives, attended the funeral of Mumtaz Qadri in Rawalpindi. Many religious parties and conservatives had hailed Qadri as a hero for his act and were against the death penalty awarded to him. Meanwhile, sporadic protests by hardline religious groups continued on Tuesday in other parts of Pakistan against the execution of the former police personnel.
अदालती कत्ल भी हुआ, इंसानियत का कत्ल भी हुआ, इखलाक का भी कत्ल हुआ, इंसानियत का भी कत्ल हुआ। नामूस रिसालत का यह मुजाहिद आज अपने अंजाम को पहुंचा, लेकिन अपनी दुनिया और आखिरत को सवार किया।
Qadri was executed in Rawalpindi in the wee hours of Monday for assassinating former Punjab governor Salman Taseer in 2011 for criticizing country's blasphemy laws that mandates the death penalty for insulting Islam or the Prophet Muhammad.
Frustration is mounting among the youth in Gilgit-Baltistan due to burgeoning unemployment. Despite repeated requests, the government has not been able to bring favorable policies to boost economic activities in the region, and as a result, locals are reeling under acute poverty.
Local government's indifferent attitude towards the falling economy of Gilgit-Baltistan has affected all sections of the society, with youth being the worst sufferers. In spite of having educational degrees, youth of Gilgit-Baltistan are unable to secure a decent job. Locals claim that despite being aware of the situation, the government lacks the will to attract private investment and implement policies that could help to tide over unemployment.
बेरोज़गारी यहाँ का बड़ा मसला है। इस हवाले से हुकूमत के पास हमें फ़िलहाल कोई प्लानिंग नज़र नहीं आती है। बेरोज़गारी उस वक़्त यहाँ पे बुनियादी तौर पर पब्लिक सेक्टर जो कि सरकारी जॉब्स हैं वो लोगों को रोज़गार देने का ज़रिया रही है माजी में, मगर अब वो सेचुरेटेड हो गए हैं। अब किसी भी हुकूमत का बुनियादी काम नौकरियां देना नहीं होता है, नौकरियों के मौके पैदा करना, रोज़गार के मौके पैदा करना होता है। तो प्राइवेट सेक्टर तो यहाँ फला फूला नहीं है और उसके लिए कोई स्ट्रेटजी नहीं है।
The unemployment rate in Gilgit-Baltistan is extremely high as compared to other regions of Pakistan. Gilgit-Baltistan, originally a part of India's princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, was illegally annexed by Pakistan 6 decades ago. Years of continued neglect by Islamabad and a corrupt administrative system has made Gilgit-Baltistan one of the most backward regions under Pakistan's rule.
Afghan security forces have gunned down a team of 5 suicide bombers near the Indian consulate in the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad on Wednesday. The bombers had attacked the Indian consulate, in which at least 6 people were wounded. The explosion shattered doors and windows of nearby buildings and destroyed at least 8 cars. No group has yet claimed responsibility of the attack. Earlier in January, the Pakistan consulate had come under attack in the same area. The attack was claimed by Islamic State, which is trying to set its foothold in Nangarhar province, of which Jalalabad is the capital. 18 nations from Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN, as well as the United States, China and Russia participated in a multinational field training exercise conducted at India's western city of Pune. The participants would share the best practices with the other armies of the world during the 7-day exercise.
The multilateral exercise with regional countries hosted by India is aimed at exchanging information and training each other's armies in disaster relief and peacekeeping operations. The opening ceremony saw march past by all the participating contingents. The field training exercise, called Force 18, will focus on humanitarian mine action and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief while committing for peace and stability in the region. The participating countries appreciated the joint exercise that would strengthen cooperation between different armies of the world.
I'm feeling great. It's a great experience to be out here and with the joint training exercise with a lot of other countries and see how everybody else operates.
Over 25 foreign trainers have arrived in Pune for the program. It is the largest ground forces exercise in India and would conclude on March 8th.
With the Indian government's announcement to completely open up its packaged food business to foreign investors, it might be a game changer. The government hopes it will curb inflation and benefit farmers.
With a busy lifestyle, Mumbai resident Anuradha Iyer can't do without her packaged food.
I think it's good news because it gives me a lot of options and a lot of choice in terms of products. And if it's 100% FDI, I'm assuming there'll be a lot of international products and brands, that will hit the shelf. So from that angle, I think it's great for me as a consumer to have a choice.
But it's not just about international brands filling up India's grocery stores with even more options. It is also about how it will change lives in the most remote parts of the country for the farmers of India. The government thinks 100% foreign investment in retail of food products will see companies getting their ingredients from India rather than elsewhere.
Look at the income distribution and the skew in income distribution in India. There are several million people earning and spending less than $2 a day. And there are tens of thousands of people earning and spending more than $200 a day. And there are hundreds of millions between this $2 and $200. So there's a skew in income distribution. And the market will have to meet the needs of consumers at every price point and at every income level.
With a 100% increase, the hope is foreign companies will pump in even more cash to feed the appetite of India's 1.2 billion people.
Moving on to news from Nepal. The climbing permits of mountaineers who were prevented from hiking the Mount Everest due to last year's earthquake has now been extended. The move has been taken to revive tourism in the Himalayan country once again.
Mountaineers who had to abandon the Everest last year will now be able to resume their expedition as the Nepal government has extended the climbing permits for this year and for 2017. More than 800 foreign climbers, each paying up to $11,000 for their permits, cancelled their expeditions after the April quake triggered landslides and massive avalanches across the Himalayas. 19 climbers were killed when huge blocks of ice buried their tents at the base camp of the world's highest mountain. Nepal government has been struggling to revive its flagging tourism sector that earlier contributed 4% to GDP. Hiking officials say foreign bookings have sharply declined. The 2015 earthquake, followed by strikes and blockade by minority communities, has majorly hit the economy of the country.
Buddhist monks and followers from all over the world gathered in Thailand to endorse values of Buddhism. One of the main agendas of the meeting is to promote Bodh Gaya in India, where Lord Buddha attained enlightenment.
Hundreds of Buddhist delegates and followers from 320 organizations in 39 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany and India, converged at Ayutthaya in Thailand for an international meeting aimed at promoting the tenets of Buddhism. Apart from spreading the message of peace, compassion, harmony and brotherhood, the International Buddhist Confederation, or the IBC, promoted Bodh Gaya in India, where Lord Buddha obtained enlightenment. Bodh Gaya is the most important site for Buddhism.
We are trying to have a closer association with Bodh Gaya. And I think the discussion now is, how can we have our central headquarters in Bodh Gaya? There has already been discussion between the Chief Minister of Bihar, where Bodh Gaya is located, and he has invited the IBC to come and set up its headquarters there. So that is the discussion that is going on.
At the 3-day-long conclave, the luminaries of the Buddhist world will also deliberate on how faith-based organizations can help the international community of nations to achieve the globe's sustainable development goals.
The ancient practice of yoga is gaining popularity all over the world at a rapid pace. This was visible as hundreds of yoga enthusiasts took part at the International Yoga Festival in India.
Yoga enthusiasts from more than 70 countries gathered at the Himalayan town of Rishikesh in northern India to take part in a week-long festival. The event includes courses in 150 styles of yoga as well as classes of meditation and Indian philosophy.
I'm very thankful to be here. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. And believe it or not, most people usually think about India as the place where they're going to come and find spirituality. That's not the reason why I'm here. I think I found spirituality already, but I'm very happy to be here, very blissful, very thankful, very grateful.
Yoga is a discipline that dates back to thousands of years. While it is said to have originated in India, it gained immense international prominence over the last several decades as a holistic regime for the mind and body. The UN had last year declared 21st of June as International Yoga Day.
Springtime is the most blissful of all seasons, and with the onset of spring, almond blossoms are offering a majestic sight in India's northern Kashmir. The white and pink flowers on almond trees is a view to reckon. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India says action on Pathankot attackers, priority over dialogue with Pakistan. Afghan forces kill suicide bombers who targeted Indian consulate in Jalalabad. And India hosts multilateral military exercise with 17 nations. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. They can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.